Soft piano plays. The screen fades in from black. Mr. Truong, voice, gentle and warm. Some nights don't just fall. They crash down on you, heavy. Almost deliberate. That night, the rain was merciless. It beat against the windows, flooded the gutters, soaked every inch of our tired little town. I sat behind the wheel of my taxi, the wipers doing their best, but failing to keep up. The streets were empty. Empty. Except for him. Standing there at the corner. A man, hunched over, rain pouring off him, clutching an old, battered backpack like it was his last possession. Sound of rain intensifies. The taxi slows. Mr. Truong. I rolled down the window. Rain splashed inside, cold against my arm. Need a ride? I asked. He didn't look at me. Not right away. Just nodded. Slowly. His voice, when it finally came, was barely more than a breath. Anywhere. Warm. Please. I unlocked the door. He climbed in, dripping, shivering, silent. But the silence wasn't empty. It was heavy. Like he carried more weight than the backpack on his shoulders. Camera inside the taxi, windshield blurred with rain, a soft streetlight glowing outside. Mr. Truong. We drove in silence. Normally, I would have asked the usual questions: where you heading, rough night, something. But not this time. Something told me. This man had traveled farther than any fare I could ever charge. I glanced at him, quick, just once. His hands were scarred, calloused. His jacket, military green, fraying at the seams. And there. Stitched onto his old backpack. A faded patch. A symbol I had seen once, only once, before in my life. My heart missed a beat. Music swells gently. Mr. Truong's voice drops lower, softer. Mr. Truong. 20 years ago. I was the one stranded in the rain. A scared kid trapped inside a wrecked car, crying for help that never seemed to come. Until he found me. A soldier. A stranger who tore open that door, pulled me free, wrapped me in his coat. Whispered, "You're safe now, kid," and disappeared into the storm before the sirens arrived. I never saw his face. Never knew his name. Only remembered. That patch. That same patch. Now. Staring back at me from the seat beside me. The taxi slows, pulling up to a small diner. Neon lights flicker overhead. Mr. Truong. We pulled into Eddie's diner. The only place still open this late. I parked. I wanted to ask. God, I wanted to ask. Were you there that night? Did you save me? But the words. They just wouldn't come. Instead, I smiled and said. Come on. Let's get you something warm. And for the first time that night. He smiled back. It was small. It was broken. But it was real. Screen fades to black slowly. Soft piano lingers. Mr. Truong, whisper. Some debts are too big for words. Some heroes don't even know they're heroes. Clapperboard script, Part 2, the memory. Soft piano continues, blending into a faint memory-like echo. Mr. Truong, voice, slow, thoughtful. You ever have a memory so vivid? It feels closer than the very breath you're taking. That night, I wasn't a man driving a cab. I was a scared kid again. 16 years old. Rain blinding the windshield. And my father's old pickup spinning out of control. Sound design, tires screeching. Thunder rumbling. Mr. Truong. I remember gripping the wheel. My knuckles white. A flash of headlights. A sickening crunch. Then. Nothing but pain. And rain. Pouring in through a shattered window. Visual, young Truong trapped inside a mangled pickup, blood on his forehead, breathing hard. Mr. Truong. I tried to scream. No one could hear me. Not out there. Not in that storm. I remember thinking. This is it. This is how it ends. Faint sound, heavy boots splashing through water. Mr. Truong, voice softens, hopeful. Then. Footsteps. Heavy, determined. A shadow appeared at the shattered driver's window. Not a police officer. Not a paramedic. A man in a dark green jacket. Soaked, mud-splattered. Strong arms pulling at the door. Metal groaning, glass breaking. Visual, a pair of strong hands wrenching open the door, reaching for the boy inside. Mr. Truong. He pulled me out like I weighed nothing. Lifted me out of the wreck. Held me up against his chest, shielding me from the rain with his body. Soft orchestral music rises. Mr. Truong. I remember the smell of wet earth. Of oil and leather and something else. The deep, steady beat of a soldier's heart. He knelt down. Looked me straight in the eye. And whispered. You're safe now, kid. You're gonna be all right. Slight pause. A memory soaking into the present. Mr. Truong, soft chuckle. Funny. I don't remember his face. Not really. Only his hands. His voice. And the patch. That damned patch. Stitched onto his jacket sleeve. A unit I didn't recognize then. But burned itself into my mind forever. The screen blurs, blending past and present, a visual of the patch flashing between the memory and the backpack in the taxi. Mr. Truong. The sirens came minutes later. Flashing lights. Yelling voices. But he was already gone. Like a ghost. Melted back into the storm. Fade to black. A heartbeat sound effect, soft, but powerful. Mr. Truong. I never got to thank him. Never knew his name. Never knew if he was real. Or just a figment of a desperate boy's imagination. Until now. Screen brightened slightly, returning to the present, inside the taxi. Mr. Truong, whisper, barely holding the emotion. Until that night. When a broken man with a soldier's backpack sat beside me, carrying the same scarred memory I had never been able to let go. Clapperboard script, Part 3, The Recognition. Soft rain continues outside. Inside the diner, it's warm but almost empty. Neon light flickers. Mr. Truong, voice, calm but tinged with tension. We sat at a corner booth at Eddie's. The place smelled of old coffee, fried bacon, and wet clothes. I ordered 2 coffees. 1 black. 1 for him, whether he wanted it or not. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Visual, steam rising from the mugs. The rain tapping against the windows. Mr. Truong. He stared at his hands. Scarred. Worn thin by years of battles, some fought on far-off fields. And some fought alone, right here at home. Small detail, the man pulls his backpack closer. The faded military patch clearly visible now. Mr. Truong, voice lowers, almost a whisper. That patch. It wasn't just familiar. It was burned into my bones. Special Forces, 5th Group. The Silent Warriors. Soft heartbeat sound effect. Mr. Truong. I swallowed hard. My mind raced. Was it really him? Could fate be that cruel? And that kind? All at once. Camera slow zoom onto Mr. Truong's hand slowly clenching around his coffee cup. Mr. Truong. I knew I had to say something. Something to break the dam before it drowned us both. I cleared my throat. My voice was steady. But my heart was pounding. You served? I asked quietly. The man looks up, tired eyes meeting Mr. Truong's for the first time. Mr. Truong. There was a flicker there. Pride. And pain. The man, softly. Long time ago. Feels like another life. Pause. The clink of a spoon against ceramic. Mr. Truong, voice carries more emotion. I leaned forward. My own hands trembling a little. You ever save a kid once? I asked. Car wreck. Rainstorm. About 20 years back. He froze. The coffee halfway to his lips. Forgotten. Visual, slow zoom into the man's face, shadowed, emotions battling beneath the surface. Mr. Truong, softly. For the first time. I saw the soldier behind the worn-out man. He set the cup down. His voice cracked when he spoke. The man, hoarse whisper. You. You remember that? Music swells gently. A long pause. Mr. Truong, whisper. I never forgot. Silence hangs heavy between them. A lifetime packed into a few seconds. Mr. Truong, voice picking up strength. The realization hit me like a freight train. This broken man. This forgotten soul. Had once been my savior. Visual, a flashback superimposed over the present, young Truong in the soldier's arms, dissolving into the older Truong across the diner table. Mr. Truong. I wanted to cry. I wanted to stand up and salute. I wanted to tell the whole damn world. This man is a hero. But instead, I just sat there, blinking back the tears. Wondering how many heroes like him the world had thrown away. Soft fade out. Rain easing outside. A feeling of resolve building. Mr. Truong, whisper, a promise to himself. I couldn't let him vanish again. Not this time. Some debts. You don't pay with money. You pay with honor. Clapperboard script, Part 4, The Rising Wave. Soft morning light filters through diner windows. The rain has finally stopped. Mr. Truong, voice, thoughtful. The rain had ended. But something else had started. A ripple. A ripple I couldn't let die out. Visual, Mr. Truong sitting at the counter, phone in hand, hesitation on his face. Mr. Truong. That night, after dropping him off at the shelter, I sat in my cab for a long time. Engine off. Head spinning. Close up on Mr. Truong's phone screen. Blank post box open. Mr. Truong. I thought about all the stories I had heard growing up. About heroes. About men who fought and bled and came home to find nothing waiting for them. No parades. No job offers. No helping hand. Just silence. Mr. Truong. So I started typing. A simple post. No hashtags. No filters. Just the truth. Soft piano music rises. Mr. Truong, reading softly. Tonight, I gave a ride to a man most would ignore. Years ago, that same man pulled a scared kid, me, from a wrecked truck during a storm. He didn't ask for thanks. He didn't stick around for recognition. He simply saved a life. And disappeared. Tonight, fate gave me a second chance. His name is David. He's a hero. And he deserves better than this world has given him. Visual, Mr. Truong hitting post, the screen refreshes. Silence. Next morning. The diner buzzing softly, a few regulars talking over coffee. Mr. Truong. By morning. Something incredible had happened. Phone screen, notifications flooding in. Comments, shares, messages. Mr. Truong. Hundreds of comments. Thousands of shares. People. Real people. Veterans, teachers, teenagers, old-timers. All reading about David. All saying the same thing. We need to help him. Soft orchestral build. Mr. Truong. Veteran groups started reaching out. Churches. Even the mayor's office called the diner that afternoon, asking for a meeting. Visual montage, volunteers organizing donations. A local news crew setting up an interview. Kids making thank you cards. Mr. Truong, voice warm, emotional. They came with food. Blankets. Jobs. One man donated a brand new suit. Another offered to fix up a room above his garage, free of charge. Cut to Mr. Truong meeting with community leaders in a church hall. Mr. Truong. We weren't just giving David charity. We were giving him something much rarer. Dignity. Recognition. A reminder that even forgotten heroes are never truly forgotten. Quick montage, David, cleaned up, wearing the donated suit, quietly smiling as children hand him cards. Mr. Truong. When David walked into the church that Sunday morning, wearing that suit, head held just a little higher. It wasn't just him that changed. It was all of us. Fade to black. Soft piano note lingers. Mr. Truong, voice, reverent. Sometimes it takes just one story, one truth, to remind a community who they really are. Clapperboard script, Part 5, The Honor. Warm morning sun streams through the church windows. The community gathered inside is buzzing softly. Mr. Truong, voice, gentle but full of weight. The day they honored David. It didn't start with fanfare. No marching bands. No flashing lights. It started with silence. Visual, slow-motion shot, David standing at the front of the church, dressed in a donated suit. A simple American flag hangs behind him. Mr. Truong. He stood there. Shoulders back, chin up. The weight of the years falling away. Replaced by something he hadn't worn in a long time. Pride. The pastor steps forward, holding a plaque. Mr. Truong. The mayor spoke. So did a representative from the Veterans Association. They read the citation. For selfless bravery. For unseen sacrifices. For a heart that never stopped serving. Soft orchestral music rises. Mr. Truong. When they called David's name, the room stood as one. Men in suits. Women in Sunday dresses. Kids clapping with sticky fingers. All standing. All honoring the man no one saw before. Visual, David hesitates, then steps forward. Eyes wet but shining. Mr. Truong, soft chuckle. David didn't say much. Never was much for speeches. He just nodded, shook hands, smiled that small, broken, beautiful smile of his. Later, outside the church. People lingering, laughing, clapping David on the back. Mr. Truong. You would have thought that was the end of the story. The hero finally recognized. But David had one more surprise. Visual, Mr. Truong noticing David pulling a folded envelope from his pocket. Mr. Truong. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a note. Written in careful, shaky handwriting. Mr. Truong, reading the letter softly. Use this for someone else. Someone still out there, like I was. I don't need much. Just a warm bed. And a chance to keep serving. Soft music swells, emotional high. Mr. Truong, voice thick with emotion. He donated every dollar raised for him. To start a fund for homeless veterans in our town. Visual, montage, other veterans being helped. A food drive. A new shelter wing named after David. Mr. Truong. That was David. Never asking. Always giving. Final scene, Mr. Truong standing by a simple plaque on a brick wall. The plaque reads. David, Doc, Morrison. Silent hero. Endless heart. Soft piano fades out. Mr. Truong's voice, almost a whisper. Mr. Truong. Not all heroes wear medals. Some wear scars. Some wear rain-soaked jackets. And some wear the gratitude of a whole town. Forever stitched across the heart. Fade to black. On-screen text. Dedicated to all veterans whose stories are yet to be told. Subscribe for more untold stories of silent heroes. And remember, small kindnesses ripple farther than we ever know.